YouTube. Y'all already know it's your boy Big Lou. Stepping back in with what it do. Big Lou and ZR2. Baby, baby. Bye. So check it out. There's still a big uproar regarding the floating garbage remark, right? Um about Puerto Rico, right? Borinquen, La Isla del Encanto, PR, some people call it also, right? La Patria, Nuestra Patria, Mi Patria, the motherland, our motherland, my motherland, right? Um, and so it's definitely not being understood correctly on what exactly the uproar is. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, well, he's a comedian, he's a roast comedian." It's not about the comedian. It's not about Tony Hitchcliffe. Yeah, that's what he does. He's a roast comedian, right? Um, the fact is, and I'm gonna keep this short but simple, right? Because I gotta go vote. Right? We got about 2 hours to the polls close here in California. The thing is this. This is the thing, okay? Because we already know how Donald Trump does it. It's something that he don't like. I mean, excuse me, something that people don't like. I don't know him. I don't know nothing about him. And it's including people that he has a ton of pictures. Excuse me, a ton of pictures with. I'm not talking about this comedian. I'm talking about just overall these last so many years. He'll distance himself when people get caught for doing something or they say something, and he'll say, "I don't know nothing." You know what I'm saying? That's what this all boils down to is the fact that that comedian's material was vetted, right? Because you can't say, "Oh no, it wasn't." No, it was because it was put on the prompter for him to read it off. On top of that, they made some cuts from it because there were some other remarks that I guess, it was too strong for them to allow him to say that. Okay, the point is that this reflects on Trump. Okay, this reflects on Trump, the Trump campaign. Okay, remember he hires the best people, so he got Trump campaign people there. I mean, you can't tell me that these dumbasses didn't know that you're in New York City at Madison Square Garden. They know that, right? You gonna tell me they didn't know that New York is the biggest city with Puerto Ricans in it, right? Even though many have left over the years to go to Pennsylvania, to Florida, you know what I'm saying, to Connecticut, to other places. Um, Still, I believe there's still in New York City, the five boroughs is the biggest population of Puerto Ricans, right? Pennsylvania's high, a swing state, right? There's many in Florida now. It's just a stupid ass remark to make in New York at a time when you're supposed to be closing your campaign, the last week of your campaign, where you're trying to make the best argument for people to vote for you, and then you're going to allow some comedian to go out there and make some off-color remarks about Puerto Ricans, blacks, Latinos in general, and I think there was some shit said about Palestinians and Jews, right? Which you need all these voting blocks of people, right, in order to put your sorry ass back in the White House. So it's like I said again, it's not about the comedian, right? And yes, there is a problem with the garbage in Puerto Rico, but the way you say that there's a floating island of garbage in the ocean, and you say Puerto Rico, that's saying that everybody there is garbage. I mean, that's the way it sounds. I mean, even if that's not what it was meant to be, we know. I mean, well, a lot of people don't know, but Puerto Rico's had a problem with landfills and the garbage for a while, where you're getting one-off stuff like a hamburger wrapper and stuff like that floating, not floating, but getting blown down the streets of Puerto Rico, and also some of it landing in the ocean where it's becoming an issue with the wildlife in the ocean, right? So, it's just so funny how these people on, these right side people, how, you know, Biden said what he said and then clarified it, because we know Biden misspeaks a lot, right? Um, and that, oh, he called us garbage, when it's like funny because Trump's been calling everybody garbage and trash and all that for a long time that don't agree with him, as well as he's called our nation is a declining nation, this and that, da da da. When we're the number one nation coming out of the pandemic, everybody envies the United States. Everybody wants to be the United States coming out with the GDP growth and the economy and all that. Yeah, inflation went up. Yeah, of course it went up. Things had to be done to get us out of the mess that Trump left us in, right? It's that simple, right? So again, Let me make this perfectly clear. It wasn't about the comedian. It was the fact that Trump and the Trump campaign allowed him to go up there and say the off-color remarks he said about many different people, right? Um, Especially during this time, right? This country is so polarized, right? It's so divided. Many people are calling it the divided states of America, right? Um, I mean, and it's literally close to being just 50-50 down the line. Even though I think it's more like 53-47, 52-48, but it's still close enough. It's close enough. And, we got to get out of this shit, man. There's no way. How do you sit there and call your, how do you call your fellow, how do you call your fellow Americans? You're calling them enemies. Like we're not even from the same place. You know what I'm saying? But yet when we go to war or we go join the military, we're together. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Just like one reason that really offended me was that you call Puerto Rico that, and how many Puerto Ricans have gave the ultimate sacrifice as well as more American-born Americans for the mainland have in the military. You know what I'm saying? Remember, like I said before, the Puerto Ricans have formed badass, kick-ass battalions that are full of just Puerto Ricans. Um, and so you got Rambo, the Puerto Rican Rambo. You know what I'm saying? Sergeant. I can't think of his name. I think it's Velez, if I remember correctly, right now off the top of my head. But we've been putting it down since the beginning of time, as far as this country, the idea of the United States, right? Um, and That was just a very off-color, disrespectful, just a disrespectful thing to say and allow it to be said on Madison Square Garden in New York City. You know what I'm saying? And obviously that's my opinion. But what the truth of the matter is like what I said. It's not about the comedian. It's the reflection of what these people think. Now, I said this before and I'll say it again. When Trump came down that escalator, when he said Mexicans and he says this and that, a lot of times when he's speaking, even though we're from different areas, we speak the same language. We look very similar. We're all basketing together. Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Latino. It don't matter if you're Venezuelan, Cuban, Dominican, da 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 da, Mexican, Salvadorian, Panamanian, da da da. We all fall in that basket of Latinos, right? We all speak the same language. You put us all in the room together, we're all going to speak, no problem, right? Yeah, there's some words, nouns that are different, and every now and then there's a verb that's different, but it's not like you can't figure it out what we're talking about. When they say a word that you don't understand, it's just a word or two, you ask them, and then they'll break it down into the proper word or the word that you'll understand, and then it's easy to figure it out, just like in English. They're like, oh, what's that mean? What's that word, blah, blah, blah mean? Oh, it means did this. It's the same thing, you know what I'm saying? And so we can all speak. So, you know, and the thing too, remember fucking Hurricane Maria and then the other hurricane they hit back to back Puerto Rico. Remember this jive ass turkey was saying, oh, Puerto Rico, and he's like, oh, now 3,000 people didn't die, and he's trying to say that this didn't happen, that what really happened, and then he shows up over there. Now I know people say something about the paper towels, how he was throwing it, and it was like a game to him. Now, from my understanding, a friend of mine works for FEMA. At the time, he didn't work for FEMA. Another family member of his did, who was there in the room. And I guess somebody in the crowd had said, throw me the paper towel, which he did, but then he continued to do it, and it kind of just looked silly, made us look like we're begging, and he even said that too. He said Puerto Ricans always got their hands out. He blocked aid from getting over there from FEMA. So he didn't treat Puerto Rico right. And then now, of course, like he said, I'm the best president ever for blacks. I'm the best president. I did Puerto Rico best than anybody. You know what I'm saying? And I will say this. Some people just say, well, what has Biden and them done for Puerto Rico? You know what? My answer is I don't really know. I'm not up on that part, on that, right? I don't really know. We know that they got problems over there with, like I said, the garbage, and we know they got problems with the power. We know there's a lot of corruption in the government over there. You know what I'm saying? So it just so happened that while they were giving this Madison Square Garden rally, that Vice President Harris was at a Puerto Rican restaurant in Pennsylvania. You know what I'm saying? And so she spoke about things, and we'll see what happens if she gets in. But tonight's the night. We'll figure out who won. They're doing some of the early counting now. It hasn't really been called everywhere yet. I think Florida's Trump's winning big right now. They also said Florida that wouldn't pass making weed legal, which is it's kind of strange. I mean, you think by now, but no. I guess they voted it down. They also voted against the abortion deal, which is very surprising. And so we'll see what happens. But I just wanted to make this video again because I'm seeing yesterday and today on Instagram a lot of people still speaking out, feeling disrespected. But in the comment section, I see a lot of people, saying, "Oh, he's just a comedian." And this is something I wanted to do anyways yesterday. I just didn't get around to it because I dropped the Fernando Valenzuela video and the other one. So this is it on this one. I probably, I got to get ready to go vote. Polls close, like I said, at 7. As long as you're in line before 7, you're good. So hopefully I'll go later. I can get there. Latest I can get there. They'll be, they'll run us through quick. Hopefully, and I should be in and out. Once I get my ballot, I should be in and out. I already got all uh, my what I'm gonna vote on. What already ready to go. I know what's up. So with that being said, Big Lou tapping out.